Hello, my beautiful, lovely creatures. As you may have heard, Nintendo had something going on called the Splatoon 2 Testfire during this past weekend. Similar to what they did with the first game in 2015, the Testfire is an opportunity for fans to try out how the game feels during very specific periods of time. This weekend, we had a chance to play at 1-hour intervals on 6 separate occasions, and it's available for anyone with a Nintendo Switch. Now, before I unleash my opinion of the game on you guys, the reason Nintendo has these test fires is not to let the fans get their hands on the game and voice their opinions, although to them that is just a sweet bonus. The main purpose of these test fires is to test the servers of Splatoon 2. By having a large amount of players play the game at the same time during very specific hours allows Nintendo to see if everything is working well. And I can happily admit that after playing the game for 4 hours, I only had one connectivity problem. And to give you all perspective, my internet here in my apartment isn't terribly great. Now, you may hear different results when it comes to connectivity issues with different gamers, but for me, I didn't have any issues. Now, with that out of the way, how was Splatoon 2? Well, it feels exactly like the first game. Honestly, if it wasn't for the different controllers, if you gave someone Splatoon 2 and told them that it was the original game, I would be very surprised if they could tell the difference. Now, granted, this is not a bad thing. I absolutely adored Splatoon's gameplay. I found it, and I still find it, to be one of the most unique and different feeling shooters I've ever played. And same goes for Splatoon 2. Even after all the time put in the original game, I was still surprised with how different this game is from everything else in the industry. Now, if you haven't played the original game before and don't understand how the core gameplay works, well, it's my job to help you out. The primary gameplay mode in Splatoon, which is also the only mode available during this test fire, is called Turf War, in which your main objective is to cover the map with your team's color ink as much as possible. When the match is over, whichever team has the most ink on the map is the winning team. Now, ink is your ammunition. It is what you use to cover the walls and floors and to eliminate your opponents. You could turn to a squid and quickly maneuver in your color ink, and this also reveals the ink in your inventory. The enemy's colored ink hurts you, so you can't properly walk in it without taking damage, and if they shoot you, you're eliminated. That's basically the core foundation of Splatoon, as well as its sequel, and I still love it just as much as I did when the original came out, and that basically means that I love Splatoon's gameplay a lot. Now, when I first started playing Splatoon 2, I kept on using the X button to jump because I spent more than 60 hours jumping in Breath of the Wild using the X button, and this took me a long time, and I mean a long time, to get used to. In Splatoon 2, the X button brings up the map. The B button is the jump button, which, that makes the most sense. So that took a long time to get used to, but other than that, the controls were great. However, one major point of controversy that took over the first game, and will most likely take over this game, is the use of motion controls. It doesn't matter which controller you use to play the game. No matter what you use, you aim by tilting your controller. The right analog stick is only used for making large horizontal turns. And while I am totally okay with these type of controls, as I believe it benefits Splatoon's gameplay because of the travel distance of your ink, there will probably be a lot of gamers that absolutely can't stand the idea of motion-controlled aiming. There is an option to play the game in which you use the right stick to aim instead. However, after a few matches with this control setup, to my surprise, I went back to motion controls as I was more comfortable with this control setup. Now, once you get your hands on Splatoon 2, you can decide for yourself which control setup is best for you. When it comes to control configurations, I played this game with the 2 Joy-Cons inside the grip, I played with the Pro Controller, and I played in handheld mode. Playing with the 2 Joy-Cons inside the grip works perfectly well, and this is probably how I'm going to play when I take my Switch out on the go. However, I still can't get over how much I love the Pro Controller. I haven't had a chance to say this on the channel yet, but the Switch's Pro Controller might just possibly be my favorite controller in all of gaming. However, I'm still trying to figure out if that's what I truly believe. Regardless, both controller setups work well. I'm going to be using the Pro Controller for when I play at home, and I'll be using the grip when I'm on the go. Now, playing this game in handheld mode is very awkward. Because you have to tilt to aim, your screen's going to be moving all over the place, and it can get very hard trying to focus on everything that's going on. Upping the sensitivity of the motion controllers did seem to help this a little bit, but this is absolutely not the optimal way to play the game. But it's not much of a deal breaker because when I'm on the go, I'll probably be playing in tabletop mode, which works perfectly well. In the test fire, we had 4 preset classes ready for us to use. The final weapon we got to use, which is the only new weapon to Splatoon, are the Splat Dualies. They act like 2 submachine guns and are devastating in close quarter combat. You can also dodge while using these weapons, which is a very handy ability to have. Overall, all the weapons and abilities are balanced very well, and the core gameplay foundation of Splatoon 2 is as good as it's always been. But there is still a lot that we don't know about this game, and there are a lot of features that we didn't get to experience in the demo. We know that there will be character customization and the ability to make custom classes, but we don't know how the level system works, what the hub world is like, what kind of single-player content there is, what other types of game modes will be included, and we also don't know how much content there will be in the final product. Also, Nintendo needs to get off their ass and explain to us how voice chat through our phones is gonna work. while the core gameplay is as amazing as ever, there's still a lot we don't know about this game, including the actual release date. But I have every bit of confidence that Nintendo is going to do this game justice. Splatoon 2 may feel almost identical to the first game, but this is not a bad thing. Splatoon's gameplay is absolutely fantastic, and because of its release on the Wii U, not many gamers had a chance to experience Splatoon before. But with the release of Splatoon 2 and the high demand for the Nintendo Switch, the idea to make the sequel so similar to the original is a great idea. But to me, I'm just looking forward to playing this with my friends in local LAN multiplayer on the go in any random spot we could think of. So those are my first impressions of Splatoon 2. If you have any questions on the game that I didn't answer already, ask away in the comments below. Also, do you plan on getting the Nintendo Switch? And if you do plan on getting one, or if you already have one, do you plan on getting Splatoon 2 as well? Let me know in the comments so we can have a fun conversation, because that is what I like to do in my spare time, is talk about games, because that's fun. I mean, that's why this channel exists. I mean, so there you go. Thank you for watching, and stay fresh.